All right, we're continuing our kanji investigation. Um, Moving along the N3 group, this one is Chase. On the right and bottom, you can see our kind of guiding road path type radical. And on the top, if you recall, this is like an office worker or an agent or someone that you can think of as having kind of a role in an organization. So I like to think of them being like deployed. Excuse me. That was a very sudden cough. Yeah, you could think they're being deployed to chase down the bandit. Oh, that darn bandit. Pretty sure this is subject of study. It's kind of like department, anything kind of like that. So you see this in different subject matters and stuff. Sure, simple enough. This is brave. Oh, I didn't explain why that previous one was department or whatever, but I don't really have a good way for remembering that one. I just kind of know that it is. This we have like private, rice field, power. So if you think of like someone by themselves heading across the fields into battle, the power of that one person alone, that's his bravery. This is like the Yu and Yusha for hero that you hear quite often, like in Endro and stuff. I was talking about the Yusha. This is alone. So on the left, I only learned this recently. This radical means beast. It refers to like kind of animals or creatures or anything like that. And on the right, this one means insect. So if you can kind of think of like a beastly insect, it's not like swarming, but it's by itself. This is kind of a scary and disgusting, potentially, way of thinking of this kanji, which of course is the hito and hitori and stuff, like hitori bochi, and other words that I usually think of as quite cute, or kind of mildly sad, but it's a beastly bug that is ending up alone. This is flourish or glory. So if you think at the bottom, this is a tree, and at the top, this is the tree's flourishing. It's growing all sorts of fruits and leaves and branches and stuff. So yeah, that's nice. This is thick. I don't really know a good way to remember that. It's like son over child, all within a roof. So, I don't know. I'm not really sure how best to come up with a memoric there. But I just remember that's thick. It's such an important word to know. This is board or plate. So on the left, you can see tree, of course. On the right, we can think of this as kind of our cutting into degrees type of character. So a tree cut into these sorts of degrees is boards. Easy enough. This is beautiful. I don't really know a good way to remember it. On the top, you can kind of see like king with these little ears, and on the bottom, big. So something kind of splendorous, something that has this kind of elegant ornateness, perhaps. And if I keep doing these sort of gestures with my hands, you'll remember somehow. This is law or method. So on the right, on the top, we have like the kind of samurai, or no, on the top, this is more soil. If the top line is shorter, it means it's like ground. On the bottom, we have private, and then the water here, I think of water usually as literal water, but sometimes it's a more metaphysical thinking of like the law, like flowing, a methodology that like flows from generation to generation. Something along these lines, I guess. This is finger or point. So on the left, we have hand, anything kind of doing with human manipulation, human action. On the right, we have the delicious, I believe, or something kind of similar to that. So I'm not really sure. On the top, it's like katakana hi. On the bottom is a sun. Somehow this is pointing. This is touching, using your finger, whatever. This is print or publishing. So this thing on the left is like a printing block. And then if you kind of think of the degrees, the process, the output of a printing block, it's print or publishing. So it's more just kind of remembering this one weird kanji on the left, or this weird radical on the left, than it is necessarily this being a complicated one. This is a star. So if you think of the bottom, this is like life or birth, something that's being produced, and on the top you have the sun. So you got to think back, this is like the pre-scientific era, and they thought maybe that stars were just baby suns. They were like suns to be, which is actually a pretty reasonable and surprisingly close interpretation of what's actually going on. Of course, they're not smaller and tiny, they're just much, much further away, but they are one and the same thing, so that's cool. Yeah. This is point. You'll see this in video games a lot for like pointing, scoring systems and stuff. On the top is like a fortune teller. So I don't know, you can think of her making some specific, looking into the crystal ball, coming up with something clear, a single point of focus. And then the fire along the bottom, this radical here is fire. Like stirring up the truth, I don't know. The point of truth, something like that. Moreover, you just see this one quite a lot if you play Japanese video games, so you get used to it. This is surface, I guess. I think of it more as like facing, the thing that's like facing outwards. So you see this used sometimes for like describing the location of businesses and such. But where you see this actually most often is in like omoshiroi. So for some reason, this plus white is interesting. Sure, this is also used for like mask and such. And it's also the men in like ramen and lo mein and other uses of men in noodles, tsukemen and stuff. But you typically will see that only written in katakana in Japanese. Like ramen is almost exclusively in katakana. But on Chinese menus and Chinese restaurants, if you see this, it usually means noodles. So it's a weird one. It's all over the place. I don't know what's up with it. This is need or require. On the top, I usually think of this as kind of like a bad radical. But then I found out recently that this radical, like by itself, means Asia, or is very close to the one that means Asia. So I'm not really sure what's going on there. On the bottom, we have a woman. So I don't really know how this adds up. But you can see here a heavy need, something that's important or momentous. Sure. This is class or grade. On the left, we have a thread. So we can think kind of like a hierarchy, like a rope that you climb up as you ascend through the grades. And this is kind of like a foothold or a handle. You see this? So it's kind of like each rung that you're climbing up is your grade or your class or something like that. Easy peasy. This is let go, I think. None of these are what I expected it to be. I think it's let go. Yeah, okay. Yeah. I think in the other app I use, this is more the idea of liberating people, releasing them. That's the sort of thing I was looking for. Yeah, let go, I guess, yeah, you're letting them go from the cages or whatever, but I think let go, I'm more just like dropping something? I don't know. On the left is like way, on the right is the one I can't really describe that well. Yeah, I don't really have a good way to remember that one. This is type, I guess? Not quite sure what they want from this one. I think it's type. Oh, phase. Okay. Yeah, companion or partner, I think is the usage that I was thinking of before. I think I and the other app I used, this is like inter or cooperate or something like that. Um, so phase surprised me. All right, so we screwed one up. That's not good. This is grass. On the bottom is early. On the top is it just means any sort of plant. So the plant that kind of grows earliest and first is grass. Maybe, I don't know. I'm not a botanist. Is that true? Um, but you see this quite a lot for different types of plants and stuff. They all count as types of grass. This is quite interesting. So this is pronounced tobacco, but neither of these kanji are typically pronounced either like taba or bako or ko or whatever. Um, they just decided that these two kanji, which means smoke and grass, would be pronounced tobacco. So sure, I guess they're allowed to do that. This is live or active. On the left is water, so again, kind of a more metaphorical usage of water as something that's moving and is alive and lively. On the right, I always think of this as being the same radical that's in like discussion and such. So kind of the essence of a lively discussion. Like if you think of a discussion and you think of like the bubbling water underneath people, it's quite lively, isn't it? Something like that. I don't know. This is prefecture. Again, it's like kind of hard to know how to remember these ones that just refer to different geographical levels of societal differentiation, but whatever, it's prefecture, you just got to know it. This is guest or customer, so they're in under the roof. This is like friend kind of, so it's your friend and you're speaking to them because you're welcoming to your business. You're saying "Irashaimase," so that's a guest or a customer, I guess. This is defeat or lose. So on the bottom is like money. On the top is kind of looks like a rake coming to take the money, maybe. I also associate the top with like angle. So your money kind of going at an angle, flying away from you. You've been defeated, I guess. This is an army. So it's like a vehicle that has a roof. So if you picture a lot of people moving together on chariots and wagons and whatever the hell else an army used back in the days when they were coming up with these kanji. Sure, they're all moving together under one roof. So that's your army, I guess. This is thoughts, I think. I think of this more as your sensations, but I guess it's also your thoughts. So at the top is now, and on the bottom is heart. So it's just like, what is in your heart right now? So I guess that's your thoughts. I also think of it as like the sensations around you, things like that. This is... What the heck is this? Investigate? No. I thought this was simple. Maybe it's investigate. No. Single. What? Really? But then we already... No, we already did alone. I probably would have seriously considered single more. But I thought we had already done alone. But I got them mixed up. See, here they're back to back. Yeesh. That's right. Yeah, we did the beastly bug one. Not this one, which is like things growing out of a rice field that's been left by itself or something. I don't know. See, simply. Man, all right, okay. All right, we just got to think a little more. This is sake. This one you'll see on signs all over the place. On the left is water. On the right is a radical that I associate only with like alcohol and fermentation and other things like that. So if you can kind of remember that, and then remember what is just the liquid form of that, it's sake. This is to laugh, or to smile, or any kind of jolly activity like that. You hear, see this one a lot. I don't really know how to remember it. It's like bamboo over top of husband, I think, or something. One of these ones. I'm not sure. Just think of something that makes you laugh and try to associate it. This is rule. So on the left we have money, and on the right we have our like sword. So if you think of like kind of the things that chop up the money, the things that determine where the money is split up and goes, those are the rules. Sure. This is believe or trust. This kanji feels naive to me because it just seems like a person speaking. And that it seems to imply that if a person is speaking, we should just trust them. So we can be skeptical of the message this kanji has, but that's what we're told. This is to fly. For some reason, this feels like kind of a nice ideogram to me. I don't know why. To me, this kind of looks like a bird in flight. That these are like the wings, and it's kind of like whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. You know, and it's almost like exhaust coming off. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that's just me being crazy, but to me that looks like flying. This is politics or government. On the left we have like correct, like truth, you know. On the right we have this thing that I can't really come up with a good association for, but maybe we can think of it as kind of like a, and sort of similar to the one in friend. So maybe we can think of it as sort of like a relationship or something. So this kind of relationships built around the truth. Again, maybe kind of naive, but this is what we are told is politics or the government. Nice. This is God. Why is this God? On the left, I've learned recently you can think of as shrine. So I think this one on the left actually shows up almost exclusively in things that have some sort of religious or spiritual significance. On the right, we have kind of like logic or reasoning or whatever. So this is like maybe the reasoning behind the shrines, like the justification for the shrines or something like that. Is God, is the presence of the kami. Maybe, I don't know. But you see this one a lot. This one shows up all over the place. It's going to know. This is reverse, I guess. I think of it as inverted, but reverse I'm sure is also fine. So we have this like guiding thing again. And then riding on top of it, I think of this guy as like a little devil. And what it reminds me of is Seija in Toho. This character Seija that's always like inverting and reversing things, and she has like little devil horns. So to me, as long as I can just look at this and remember Seija, I can read it. That might not work unless you're a big Toho fanboy like me, though. So, ooh, an inverted sigh is a hiccup. That's quite interesting. I like that. Masaka. Oh yeah, you hear that all the time, Masaka. It's like truth inversion. There's no way. Truth has been inverted. This is perplexed, I believe. So again, kind of a guidance thing, and then this is like rice, right? Rice. So if you think that you're like following a trail of rice, but then the rice is just scattered everywhere, because this is referring to like a large quantity of rice, sure. You're perplexed. You don't know where it is you're supposed to go next. Something like that. Seems all right. This is connection or person in charge. So on the left we have a person, and on the right we have again a thread, which we can think of as kind of like a hierarchy, a rope that leads you upwards, something like that. So that's quite simple. This is yesterday. Da da da, all my troubles seem so far away. Now it's gone and then they're here to stay. I don't think these are the lyrics. Oh, I believe in yesterday. Anyways, so this is day, of course, on the left. On the right, I associate this with like making, to make, to manufacture, to create, and things along this. So it's like the day that's already been made, the day that had once already been created is yesterday. Sure. This is to retreat or withdraw, again, guiding a path. And then on top, I think of this as good, because it is good. It also shows up in food and stuff. So if you can kind of think of this as the good path, that's the path that you've already been on. That's the path back home, the path that will get you safe. Even though these are mostly used in negative connotations, this is kind of the only way I can think of this word. These are all, yeah. Except for leaving the hospital, I guess that's pretty good. This is limit. On the left is like our village, our group of people. On the right is like good. So this is maybe the outward influence that the goodness of the people of an area have is the limit of that societal scope. Maybe, I don't know. There's not really a good way to remember that one. This is to celebrate. Yay! So on the left we have like a shrine. On the right we have an older brother. So when your older brother busts out the sake from the shrine, that means it's time to celebrate. I guess. This is to investigate. We got this one mixed up before. So you can think of this as like an eye peering up into the branches of a tree. They're investigating. What's up in this tree? What's going on? Is there a bird, perhaps? This is like I think this is like what is this? I think it's reflector ministry, but I don't really know why. Reflection, reconsideration. I'm not even sure what this is in my other app. I thought it was like watch over or something. But I could be getting that mixed up with something else. But it's like a small eye. So you kind of think of like you narrow your eyes and you're like, what was that again? You're reflecting on it. Sure. This is type, I think. I think of this as like model, like prototype. Or it also looks a lot like stern or strict. But I don't see anything that really fits with that. So I think it's type. Yeah. Yeah. It's like a model, an archetype, a mold, things like that. Sure. So on the top we have like sharpening. On the bottom we have ground. So if you're kind of like shaping and sharpening a big piece of ground, it's because you're creating a model. Or a million other things, but whatever. This is military. So again, we have this, it's missing the top part. It's actually just stop. We have like stop, this kind of big crossroads. I don't know. You can think of it as like this dot is like coming in. Who's going to stop it? The military, I guess? A bushi. This is a word for warrior that we've probably heard quite a lot. This is surface or table. On the top, we can think of this kind of stretching outwards. The outermost part has these kind of layers and stuff. The bottom, I think of as kind of like clothing or attire or something like that. So I guess this is ancestor or founder, I'm pretty sure. Oh boy, or it could be, yeah, it's ancestor. Yeah. Okay, yeah, I thought so. So you can see this is used for your grandfather and grandmother and stuff like that. On the left, we have this handy-dandy, exciting new shrine thing. So kind of your venerable ancestors that have been enshrined. On the right, this is like an eye. I think of this as kind of referring to you in this situation. So it's like kind of looking back, like what you see when you peer into that sacred, murky history as your ancestors. This is life or order. This is in Reiwa, isn't it? This is like the Rei in Reiwa. Is it? No, it's not. I got mixed up. It's this. Order, yeah, okay. I don't really know how to remember this too well. This one I just kind of know. Yume, you hear quite often referring to someone's fate. This is change or unusual. So on the top we have like a row, things lined up. On the bottom we have that kind of interweaving relationship, the kind of like a connection signifier, is what I'm running with at the moment at least. So I don't know. This is like the hen that we hear of so often, in like tai hen, henshin, things like that. I'm pretty sure. Henka, change, stuff like this. All right, sure. This is promise or contracts. So on the left, we can think of this thread as kind of making the connection. We're not going to break this thread. We won't break our trust with each other. On the right, this I think of as kind of like a target, like a pinpoint, something you're aiming for, like a specific thing. So you've drawn a thread between these two specific agreements between each other. You've made a promise. This is charcoal or coal. So on the bottom we have fire. On the top, heating up over this kind of grill, I guess you would say, is a mountain. So it's like the burned up rocks and stuff. That's your charcoal. I know it's actually petrified ancient wood, but you know, we're working with a pre-scientific kanji conception here. This is your stomach. So we know that the moon is often referring to a part of the body. Here, because it's underneath this rice field, the rice field represents like your head, I think, and then the bottom represents the stomach. So it's more about the positioning of the organ radical here that we know it's stomach. This is oil. So on the left we have water. On the right we have kind of something emerging from a rice field, I think I would say. So if we think of like the water that comes from an agricultural field, if you kind of squeeze it down to make canola oil or sesame oil or whatever it is, this is your oil. This is the yu and shoyu and soy sauce. You see this a lot in like recipes and in food ingredients and such. Good. These are the ones that we messed up before. Single and phase. All right, so let's not let ourselves get disgraced with this 2096 and just run through this quick again. Defeat, laugh, skin, surface, oil, publishing, celebrate, finger, simple, nope, single, astray, no, perplexed, oh boy, gods, guest, grass, yesterday, promise, limit, life, politics, star, flourish, senses, no, this time it was thoughts, single, alone, ashes to ashes, dust to dust, but it's actually charcoal, army, or no, military. Chase, trust, believe, point, investigate, sake, thick, method, ancestor, model, mold, type, retreat, prefecture, army, brave, inverted, stomach, beautiful, rule, grade, need, person in charge, fly, phase, yeah, subject of study, board, facing, oh god, it's just surface, not surface table. This is the other one that was like, what? Reflect ministry, change, oh, let go, and lively. Yay! Okay, we're still batting pure hundos as we march our way through N3. Please join us next time for another big group of kanji. I'm really having fun with this. I hope you guys are having fun with this too. I hope that you find less intimidated. You find kanji less intimidating now. I don't think these videos alone are ever going to help you actually learn kanji by themselves. It can't hurt, probably, but I hope you can see that it's not magic. It's not insane. It's just a matter of kind of puzzling through it and coming up with methods that work for you. Okay, so that's all for now.